Chloe Johnson, and we are here on a beautiful sunny day at the Park City Library. We have such an amazing library here with so many cool resources and, of course, some amazing books. So Conrad and I and our local librarian have banded together to give you our summer reading recommendations. I'm going to start it off with a really amazing fiction series that I found. It's called The Red Queen is the first book by Victoria Aveyard, and it's a story about kind of not really post-apocalyptic, but just like another world version of America. Hey, bud. And it talks about how there are people with silver blood and red blood, and people with silver blood have like special powers, and so they've kind of risen above and created this whole aristocracy, and the red-blooded people kind of serve them. And this girl comes along, and she has red blood, but also has crazy cool powers where she can control electricity and lightning, and she totally upsets this whole system, and it becomes this big revolution. And it's amazing. There's a little bit of love story in there, lots of action, lots of wars, fighting, battles with cool powers flying everywhere. It's kind of a mix of like X-Men and Divergent wrapped into one. It's fantastic, and there are 4 books in the series, so it is such a great read that will keep you busy for a long time. I would recommend it for, I read this in my 20s, but I'd say anyone from like 16 and up who's, kind of a more mature reader. They're long books, but they're really, really great reads.
Hi, I'm so excited to talk to you today about fantastic summer reads. I've got 2 for you today. The first one is Our Souls at Night by Kent Haruf. This is set in a small town in Colorado. Imagine one day you're a widower, you're sitting at home, and the neighbor widow from down the street comes and says, we've known each other for a long time and both of our spouses have passed. I spend many nights by myself and I can't sleep. Do you want to come over at night? What would you say? Well, Lewis, who's the widow in this story, says, "Can I think about that?" She says, "You bet." He thinks about it, and we get to find out what happens with this lovely, very sweet relationship in this book called Our Souls at Night by Kent Haruf.
Hey guys, Conrad here. I'm here to talk about my summer book to read. This series is called The Dresden Files, and it's about a modern-day wizard named Harry Dresden who lives in Chicago. And basically, he's asked by the Chicago police to kind of investigate the paranormal crime scenes that happen in Chicago. And there's all stuff from vampires to werewolves to other wizards to gods. It's crazy what goes on. This specific book is kind of an offshoot of the Dresden series. It's about some of the side jobs that Harry has taken. And so it's not part of the Dresden Files, but it definitely will add on to the Dresden Files. And if you're sitting there going, I don't have time to read 13 books, it's super easy. Engaging reading. It goes by really fast, so you never feel like you have to force to read it. It's super fun, super exciting. I would recommend anyone who's into sci-fi and even fantasy to pick up the Dresden Files. It's a very renowned series, and I believe it's going to wrap up later this year, so now is a perfect time to start the Dresden Files.
Another great read is one called Warlight by Michael Ondaatje, who is the author of The English Patient. And for that book, he won a Booker Prize, so very well written. This is set in 1945 in England after the Blitz, World War II story of 2 young people coming of age when their parents, who have been part of the war resistance, have to leave. They leave them with a character who's basically a roommate called the Moth. The kids don't know who this person is, but they get a very unusual education as they grow up, doing things which are actually post-war resistance activities, which you find out more about in the book. Fascinating and very fun for a summer read. We have a lot of fabulous summer activities going on this year at the Park City Library. You can set reading goals. Anybody can join, so come on in, sign up for a library card, just bring your picture ID and anything that shows your current residence, and we'll get you all set up for a card. We'd love to see you.
All right, everybody, for Conrad Jacobells and Chloe Johnson, thank you so much for watching. And we do this Summer Fun Reading Challenge with kids at PCTV. And even though you are not a kid, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be reading during the summer. We'll throw it back to you guys in the station.